So some of the different places that we work, wherever we go, deaf people will follow, right? But anywhere you go, deaf people can go as well. So we work anywhere and everywhere. It's hard to see, but that's President Obama, and that's me. So I'm interpreting. Which do I prefer of these? Okay. I've experienced all of these. I don't really have a preference. I like college. I love mental health. I enjoy that. Legal, I've just barely touched legal. When I work at NDA with my job, sometimes we have to call the courthouse and the patient can't leave, so they have to stay. So they have a court, but they can't really go to court. So I have to interpret kind of in court on the phone. So I've done a little bit of legal. I've just touched the surface of that. So VRS, I love and hate. It's a love-hate relationship. Explain about VRS, okay. VRS means Video Relay Services. Deaf people, maybe they're at home or at their business, have a video phone. We have one here in the student union. Finally, okay. There's a video phone, and it's connected to a TV with a camera. And if deaf people need to call their parents or a family or a business or the credit card company, whatever, they call, which goes to an interpreter, and the interpreter says, hi, you know, you're ready to connect, make the call, and then the interpreter calls the hearing person and facilitates communication. I have a question. What's the worst experience with VRS? Embarrassing or something? Let's see. It's crazy because when the screen comes up and I answer, I don't know who that is. I don't know the reason of the call. I don't know what they're going to be talking about. I have no idea. And so their life, up until that point, I have no idea who they are, what they are doing. So there's various calls. I haven't experienced it, but there's phone sex, there's drug calls, drug calls. There's many. So, but I haven't experienced that. Darn it. Some people, hot in the summertime, sometimes guys won't have shirts on, but some people, they only show like their chest up because maybe they're naked. Yeah, so sometimes we only see from like the shoulders up. So maybe I did, I don't know. I had some hard interpreting calls, but I don't share those. One that was funny, at the VRS Center, they have cubicles, like booths that are set up, like a cubicle. So I'm sitting, and then there's kind of like a door, and then across is another interpreter on the other side. So we can see each other. And if there's no calls, we'll lean back and talk. And then there's a call coming in, we answer it, interpret. But it's funny because you can hear sometimes the other calls. So I'm interpreting the call. And it was a sweet woman, it was a mom with her son. And he seemed to be a little low functioning, so he kept saying the same thing over and over and over. And the mom said, "Oh, sweetie, that's wonderful. Oh, that's great." Just supporting him. It was so sweet, and it was a beautiful moment. And so I'm interpreting, and then next door I hear the interpreter screaming very loudly, "You're gay!" Very loud. It was hard to control. I wanted to laugh, but I couldn't. Because that's so sweet. So I had to hold it in. I had to control my laughter. And then again, the same thing. "You're gay, you like to fuck in the ass." So that was hard one. So that's VRS. Also, I've interpreted theater, music. We have interpreters for that. At Universal Studios. I interpreted concerts. Do you guys know who this is? Nobody? No, not NSYNC, no. Anyone? Who was recently in a movie? His hair's long right now. The movie is Dallas Buyers Club, right? Yes. Jared Leto. He's an actor, plus he's a musician. So I interpreted his concert. It was fun. I enjoyed all of them, so. Before I told you that I was certified, so I'm certified as an interpreter. There's an organization, the national organization is called RID, the Registry of Interpreters for the Deaf. And that organization provides screening for interpreters. And once you pass, you're certified. So I passed the NIC. There's really many different types of certifications. There's some old ones, there's state level, and but these are the three important main certifications, national. NIC is for hearing people. CDI is a certified deaf interpreter. Do you know what that means? Most of you are like, what? Malia? She would be the best to explain. Sure. Of course she knows more about certification than I do, so. No, let me see. Go ahead. Go ahead. All right. CDI means Certified Deaf Interpreter. And it's the same concept as an interpreter, but like let's say there's a hearing interpreter and then a certified deaf interpreter. The reason is sometimes the hearing interpreter doesn't understand the deaf person. And deaf people can understand other deaf people if they don't sign American Sign Language. For example, there's different intellectual levels. Maybe there's a kid from another country. He doesn't know American Sign Language, but deaf people know how to catch those signs and gesture, and then the certified deaf interpreter will sign ASL to the certified interpreter. The test itself is similar. It's a screening process. There's a performance as well. It's a little bit different of a test, but the work itself is the same. But we team with a hearing certified interpreter. Sometimes I might be by myself. Like for example, maybe I'm in front of you guys on the platform, and maybe there's one time we teamed together, me and Adam, for Pride Weekend. So I was on the stage signing, and he sat and fed me the signs. And I did all the signing on stage. So I was the deaf interpreter, and it was just me. And you know, people were amazed. They thought I was hearing. No, I'm deaf. So, but he was able to feed me the signs of what was going on, and then I interpreted it and signed it up on the stage. So that was a good day. It was a Pride Day. And also, it's important to know with legal, sometimes it's good, we're in the process. Mental health and legal, we're working on having certified deaf interpreters more often. If you see someone that's not understanding the deaf person, then they need to call in a deaf interpreter, because we can catch things. We see things with our eyes, and we catch certain nuances that a hearing interpreter may not catch. So we look at everything, body language and everything, and we're able to help the hearing interpreter voice that. So it's good to team with the hearing. That's a CDI. Okay, good? All right. All right, and the last one here is for educational interpreters in the school system. We haven't really talked on what the test looks like. You mentioned it. We have a written test. Really, it's on the computer. You just answer the questions. For the hearing, it's on the computer, but for the deaf, it's an old test. 100 questions on paper, and they have to circle in the answers. It's awful. But with the certified test for the hearing, we have a computer and a nice chair, and you just punch away. It's easy. It's not fair. And once we submit it, we know if we passed or failed right away. The deaf have to turn it in, put it in an envelope, put a stamp on it, send it away, wait and wait. 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. And then they get the letter, and it says, yay, you passed, or no, you failed. So yeah, they need to change that, but we'll see. So you take a written test. It's usually about the laws, the ethics, appropriate behavior, etc. Different scenarios. What would you do if in this situation? Once you pass the written, then you can take the performance for the interpreting test. They have a video on the TV and you listen and you sign, or you watch a deaf person and you voice what they're saying. For the hearing, for the deaf, I don't know what it's the same idea, right? You want to explain? Come back. It's similar, but it's a little different. We get a paper and we watch it and then we sign it. So we translate what we write down from what we saw. And then we have to read it and sign it at the same time. You guys don't have to do that. There's 4 different, you guys have 4 different, we have 3 different scenarios. We watch it and then we sign it consecutive, and then like a team situation. So, yeah. Plus the hearing test. We have ethical situations where, you know, a deaf person explains about, you know, suppose you're in a certain situation, what would you do? And then we have to answer, you have time, you have like 3 minutes to think about it, and then you have to answer what we would do, what's appropriate, and follow the appropriate professional conduct. Yeah, we don't have to do that part. You have to follow the ethics plus the why you support it, the positive and negative. We don't have that part. We just have the skill portion. You guys have the ethics and the skill portion. So they're different. So, all right, thank you. The Code of Professional Conduct is our law, our ethics, what the interpreters should follow, except for me during class.